All right, let's start off with name, role, and who you're with.
Okay, I'm Dr. Shira Ackerman. I'm the TMO and General Manager for Lewisville Yellowjackets.
Okay.
Mathis Crowder, President of Operations, basketball President of Operations, and the coach.
Okay.
And we're both married, so
Oh, okay. Cool.
so that's what I do.
Okay. So, Lewisville. Where's Lewisville? Help me out.
Lewisville, Texas.
Lewisville, Texas. Okay. And that makes you probably one of the farthest away from base in Indianapolis.
Yes.
Close.
Right
Okay.
with Dallas Skyline.
Okay.
We're neighbors.
Dallas. That's right.
Yes.
You're right. Okay. But still. All right. So, Lewisville, is it your first year, year two? How long have you been in here?
This is our first year joining the TBL.
Okay. And as far as everything else, is there anything else sports-wise going on in Lewisville, or do you kind of have a stage to yourself?
We have the stage to ourselves. We have, for the last 8 years, we've had a basketball academy creating young minds. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 8 years, helping high school and postgraduate young men get college scholarships so they can get their academics paid for or partially paid for. So we're adding the TBL team for the first time as part of our nonprofit.
So is it almost they're in the academy and then it's almost you can go from the academy to the team?
Absolutely, yes.
Are you going to look elsewhere for players?
Well, we have some guys on the that have tried out specifically for the professional team. And so we do have guys that are going to be on the professional team. They've already graduated college or they're a little bit older. And then our guys that are on the academy team that are 17, 18, 19, 20, the younger guys, they're going to have the opportunity to play on the professional team when the academy season is over, which ends right before the professional season starts.
And that wouldn't be everyone on the academy playing on the professional team, right?
Not everybody's going to be able to.
Okay.
No.
All right. And so let's talk a little bit about that academy. Where are you? Is there a college nearby in Lewisville?
Well, in the DFW area has a lot of colleges and universities.
Oh, you are in the DFW area.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that would make sense. All right. So year one, pulling in people from the area, at least typically from the academy. We've had other people that, we had one that said it was a necessary evil that they will be moving on to somewhere else after the league, probably. But it sounds like for you that's what you're going for anyway, right?
Yes, our objective is to, and it always has been, give guys opportunities they wouldn't have had access to otherwise. And so with our younger guys, that was always giving them access to college scholarships for basketball. Now that we have the professional team, the younger guys really now have the door open for the NBA and the G League and the NBL in Australia and Canada and obviously overseas. And so then our older guys that are strictly on the professional team, that gives them that same door because now you have the larger professional leagues coming to watch the younger guys. So then they'll get to see some of our guys that are, still younger, 22, 23, out of college, and they still have that door open.
What was holding them back, would you say, from the opportunities before you started the academy?
Basically, opportunity in high school. A lot of young men that I get at the end of the bench in high school, or they was on the JV. And there was a big that never did play. You see a lot of bigs out here that's uncoordinated, 6'11", 6'10", that's uncoordinated. A lot of times people don't have patience to develop them. So I'm looking at, like out here right now, I'm looking at players. I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at players that nobody won. Goofy, awkward, triple 2 left feet. That's what I'm looking at because I love to develop. And those are the guys that are late bloomers. Late bloomers last longer. If you get a big that's already seasoned at 18 years old, that's already seasoned, very talented, most likely he's a 5-star. What happens? He's injury prone. You do your homework, you go down the list, most bigs are injury prone if they already talented by the age of 18.
So they might be awkward or however you put it, not because they're bad at basketball, but because they have to be developed yet. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of other coaches in the league that like to develop, but do you see that putting you apart from some of the other teams at least? Well, single coaches, I have no idea. But do you see that making you a little bit different as far as your team?
Yes, that makes us really different.
Yeah, okay.
And the reason why it makes us different is because we not worried about wins and losses. We more worried about development, and we more worried about the future, where the young man can make it further and go further. Because a lot of times, as you focus on now, sometimes there's not too much success. So it will. If you get a big, like some of these bigs out here that are 22, 23 years old, they played in college. They barely played because the game is changing. The game is changing to Draymond Green. It's from 6'6" to 6'9" that can move and that can do something that's versatile. But now you can go to a lot of combines. I done been around the last 2 or 3 years, and I went to a lot of combines, and you'll see it was one combine one of my scout guys went to in Vegas. There were like 100 players, but 50 of them was 6'10" to 7'3", and nobody wanted them. Everybody wanted the guy that was 6'6" to 6'9", that can move. So I like getting the young man that can't move, can't chew gum, and then I develop them. And that's my joy. And, I mean, when they get better, they appreciate it more.
So obviously nobody wants to lose, but if going off what you said, if you're on the bottom in the standings most of the time for the TBL, but you know your guys are going somewhere and they've got the looks that they wouldn't have, is that a win for you?
That's a 100% win. That's the best win ever, because every year we're being successful. Say we got 12 guys on the roster, and 10 of them move on. That's a success rate. Look at that success rate. Where if I go win a championship and only 2 or 3 guys leave, I don't feel I'm successful. That's just how I've been my whole life. That's how I look at things. I always get, my whole life, I can go in the gym and I can find the worstest player, and I say, I want you. As long as his character is right, he has substance, he's a good person, I want him. I don't want the most talented player in the gym. I don't even want the player that's near talented. I don't even want the player with a little talent. I want him can't even catch the ball. But as long as he has a great attitude, that's all I care about, and willing to work.
So different teams look at turnover differently. It sounds like the more turnover, the better for Lewisville.
Yes, I'm looking at 3 bigs out there, and I'm praying they just look terrible so I can get them.
Absolutely. Okay, from a practical standpoint, how do you market or promote a team if, like you said, you're fine if you don't win a lot of games? Like, where I would assume wins help market, but I might be wrong. So you help me.
Well, for most teams, absolutely. But because our team is so different, because we have the academy, we have the young guys, we have the potential, right? And that's what everyone's looking for with, professional athletes. Everyone goes off of potential now. So we have that market because you get to come and watch these young guys who just graduated high school or are seniors in high school, and the ones who are, just in college or just a year out of college, and they're young, and they really are going to bring those scouts and those professional leagues into the gym to watch them. That sells. That's what's going to get the community excited, because when we go out to the schools and do community events with our guys, we want the kids in the community to really get to know them so that they watch them, and when they make it and walk across that stage, say, well, he was in my school and he read a book with me. I know him, and they can say his name, that they really know who these guys are. That's what makes our team very different, because we do have the younger guys, which brings the community in a different way.
And I would think that any player who was overlooked or not overlooked, maybe they just didn't have it at all, and they come play with you guys, and then they do end up going somewhere, they're always going to have a special spot in their heart for Lewisville, I would think. I'm sure that's your goal, and I would assume that's I mean, I don't know how it wouldn't be if I'm in high school and get not any time, and now all of a sudden I'm going to play in France or whatever.
Well, I can just tell you this. Majority of our young men that make it through our program and go to college, they come right back after they graduate. They come every summer. Every summer, we probably have 10 to 12 players that played for us and went to college. They come back every summer. And they back for a week, 2 weeks, sometimes a month. We got a young man in our program now, been with us since 16 years old. Went to Southern Illinois, graduated from Southern Illinois. Right when he graduated, after 2 weeks, he last June, he moved with us and ain't left since. And he's our best player. He's 6'8", 225. In college, he didn't even get to play. He had 18 D1 offers coming out from us. And he went to a mid-major thinking, okay, I'm going to play. He set the bench. And he had one more year of eligibility left, and he already graduated. And all these D1s were calling us, begging us for him. He said, Coach, I don't want to go back to college. College is miserable. He's a white kid, Caucasian kid, great kid, white kid, 225 pounds, 40-some-inch vertical leap, windmill, do everything. Freak of nature. He's like Mason Plumlee with skills. But he didn't get to play because it's business. It's called politics in college. People don't know, the average fan don't know the politics in college. He was the face of the program. Okay, when the boosters come, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, but the knucklehead, they can't talk to the knucklehead, but they talk to the face. And that's what happened to him. So now he's our best player on our TBL team, and he had a chance to almost make the Austin Spurs. He's going to have a lot of tryouts, opportunities with G League came out to see him. The Wizards, Texas Legends came out to see him. So by next year, he's going to be most likely in the NBA.
Wow. All right. Anything else we need to know or listeners need to know about Lewisville team or the academy or both?
I would just say that what we're doing is we're trying to replicate the European version of basketball here in the United States. So we are the first program to do that. Whereas in the United States, you go high school, college, professional, if you make it that far, just in basketball. But everywhere else around the world, young athletes start training as professional athletes when they're age 13. And in some sports, soccer, football, it's age 8. I mean, they're young. But this is done all around the world, and players get to really learn how to be a professional athlete in whatever sport it is. But it's not done like that here in the United States for basketball. And that's what we're trying to do this year, so that we really can show there's another way of getting guys to the professional level that really can play there. You don't have to do it the same way everyone's done. You know, this can be very successful given the right opportunity, and the TBL gives us that opportunity to give the younger guys real professional experience. They're playing in a pro league against pro players on a professional stage, and so that gives them the ability to make that jump. And the academics around the world, it's a choice, right? Sports or academics. Here, we're not going to do that. So our guys are going to get their degree. They're just going to do it online. It's going to be faster. It's going to be cheaper, and it's going to give them a degree they can do something with. Most athletes, either they don't finish their degree, not by their choice, the way classes were taken, or they get a degree they can't do anything with. And our guys are going to still get their degree while they get to play as a professional athlete.
One follow-up with that. Starting early and getting them locked in like that, which is great, helps them develop. Does that hurt or limit their exposure or exploration of other sports?
By the time we have guys join our academy, what we've figured out over the years, because we've done this for 8 years, is guys that are juniors and seniors in high school are usually the youngest we can go. When they're
because of that.
Because they're not ready.
Sure.
Yes, they're not ready to make that commitment, and what it takes to really practice and prepare and play at that level. They're still exploring all sorts of things, and that's fine. But we've figured out that when they're younger than that, it doesn't work.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
There's a young man. We have a young man. He's about 6'7". He's from Serbia. He plays exactly like Luka Doncic. And he's in our program right now, and he plays against colleges. He's averaging 20 and 14 and 5 against colleges. Like our prep school play against JUCO colleges, and he's averaging this. And we said to him, do you want to go to college? He said, no. I want to play professional. No. And then I got a 7-footer from Nigeria, 7 foot. He came over here almost 300 pounds. Now he's down to 260. And he's a mixture of he looked like Boban, but starting to play like Greek Freak. So those, and then I have a point guard he's from here. He's about 5'9", 5'10", play like Nate Robinson, freak of nature. But I got all these young guys can get their degree online and play basketball and have an opportunity, have a chance to make it to the league. And they still get their degree. So I have all this talent, and why shouldn't they?
Do you see any of that changing when, again, we have no idea how it's going to work, but the players being paid in college, that news, we have no idea how the process is going to work. I don't even know how it's going to work at all, but they said, right, the surface level answer is that they can get paid. That's all I know. That's all most of us know, right?
You saying if
like the NCAA officially said, right, that they would be willing to let players accept money, that kind of thing.
But that's like 2 or 3 years from now.
Yeah,
that's
it is.
That's going to change up.
Absolutely. There's definitely years in between. But let's say when it's in place, as much as anybody knows, do you see that at all affecting?
No. Because I always get the guy at the end of the bench.
Oh, yeah.
I get the guy nobody wants.
Mm-hmm.
I get the guy, and I'm going to say this, and I have a gift. I can see something in the worstest guy.
Okay, so now all of a sudden, everybody hears that the TBL's got this coach that can bring some guy who never played basketball into being a star. Are we going to lose you now? Is the TBL going to lose you?
No. We won't lose me.
Okay.
I'll stay in the TBL.
All
I'm
right.
committed to the TBL.
Awesome.
No, you won't lose me. I promise you.
All right. So where do we find you guys? Where can people follow along?
Creating Young Minds is the name of the organization, and the academy is Creating Young Minds Academy, CYM Academy, and Lewisville Yellowjackets. It's creatingyoungminds.org on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, CYM B-Ball, CYM Lewisville Yellowjackets. Any of those work, you can find us that way.
Awesome. Thank you very much. He needs you for a quick second, but thank you.